Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of 8 Ounces of Inspiration. And with me today, I have probably like a jar full of inspiration with Archana here. Archana joins us from Silicon Valley. She is a woman in tech. She pursues her career as an automation engineer with Wells Fargo. She, along with pursuing that career in technology, has managed to juggle several balls in the air and manage it perfectly by living her passion for poetry, for arts and performances, as an RJ, singer, and an anchor. She's a multifaceted personality, and I've been very fortunate to know her in the early years because we were batchmates in BSchool, and we absolutely saw her talent when she created a poem. And I think we were 120 of us in the batch, and she used every single batchmate's name in the poem and created it so beautifully. I still remember that. So Archana, she also is the founder of Srijani, and we're going to talk about it a little bit more once we start the interview. She's the vice president of the Vishwa Hindi Jyoti, trying to inculcate and promote and advocate Hindi as a language, especially for those who've moved out of the country, to keep the spirit and the language alive and spoken as a means of communication among the Indian community. She is also being appointed as the library commissioner for the City of Cupertino. And I recently saw on her LinkedIn that she was honored with President Biden's honor for the work
called
for
Lifetime Achievement Award. Yeah.
Lifetime Achievement Award. So she's done so much with her life. And what I have found very inspiring is that how she has managed to create that balance and a source of well-being by while working, because that remains one of her main areas of her own personal growth and what she was educated in, but continue to dabble and further her passion into so many other things despite having a role to play as a mother of three. She has twin boys and she has a daughter. So she's managed to play that. And as most of us we know, or some of us who visited the West know that how difficult it is without help to manage children, to manage your work, to manage taking care of the cooking, groceries, all of that, along with then trying to pursue all these different things that you aspire to do for yourself. And she's done it brilliantly. So I think today the conversation with her will be a very strong source of inspiration to many women and a lot of learnings that we will pick up from her. So Archana, over to you. Thank you so much for joining us. And I will start with our first question title. Okay. Share your career path, your journey with us, how it's been once you moved from India to US, and how did you manage to continue while you worked, right? And initially, probably you were just working in a company. How you managed to find the time and create that balance to continue doing these things that were your personal aspirations and then grow in it.
Thank you, Nidhi. First of all, let me also appreciate you because you are just not an anchor. You are my inspiration. When I left India, I came to US around 99 and I heard Nidhi got to McKinsey. Wow, I was so proud. I'm still so proud of you. And I remember when you came to this country and started from scratch and reached a height. So I always feel there's so much to learn from you. And now as a guest in your show, I am honored. I'm so happy that I got this opportunity. So as you told that I'm a poet, and then we came from India to here. So first of all, let me first put जैसे कहते हैं प्रणाम करते हैं because you are वहाँ की तुम खुशबू लेके आते हो तो माथे पर हिंदी की बिंदी इंग्लिश का सम्मान भी है. जब हम आते हैं when you come from India to US, हम दोनों की कल्चर को मेंटेन करते हैं, दोनों की लाइफ को मेंटेन करते हैं. तो तब कहती हूँ माथे पर हिंदी की बिंदी इंग्लिश का सम्मान भी है. रोम रोम में रामायण है मगर बाइबल ज्ञान भी है. नए जमाने के हैं लेकिन संस्कारों का ध्यान भी है. अमेरिका से पहले मेरे दिल में हिंदुस्तान भी है. तो जब हम आते हैं, when we come here, we bring both culture, both responsibility and both duties. हम, as we say ना, अपना मायका and ससुराल, we maintain both countries together. So when we work, that's a professional requirement. But along with that, we have a passion requirement as well. If we don't cater to that call, that वो कहता है रूह की खुराक, the soul for your the nutrition for your soul. If you don't feed your soul, you'll dry away in no time. So always maintain something that refreshes you, rejuvenates you, that gives you life beyond what is professional life for you. So that for that purpose, you need to have something which gives you, a motivation, a reason to wake up every morning. There's a reason for you to smile. Aaj ye karna, aaj wo karna, and it cannot be just what makes your roti, your roji roti, your livelihood. It has to be something which makes you feel like a human being. It caters to your requirement of your soul, mind, body. That's the purpose of having so many things together.
So let's come a little bit towards Srijani, and so what motivated you to start the journey of Srijani, and how did the idea come along, and what do you aim to fulfill through it?
Sure. So Srijani is a joint effort it's a story of 4 women from 4 different countries, but I should say 4 places. It's been 1 year since we created this institute, this organization, this platform, I should say, that we bring new talent, fresh mind, and people who want to portray, showcase, feature their talents to a global audience. So we have networked more than 35 countries from various places with different talent. So in that pursuit, what we do is we select artists every weekend and showcase them to all our audience. So at times we have reached more than 135,000 audience. Sometimes it's lesser than that, depending on whom we are inviting and what they bring new. But we are very happy that we could give that opportunity. Instead of us depending on some platform, some event, some opportunity to be portrayed, we feel happy that in this world of technology, we have nurtured so many artists, poets, singers, dancers, writers, and the list. And technology, being in Silicon Valley, the best part is we are networked with people of importance, people who have made a difference to Silicon Valley, to technology as such. So we bring them, and that's just the beginning for now.
So the idea must have sprouted from something you felt was lacking, right? Or was not there. And that's why you wanted to fulfill that gap by bringing in this idea. So what was that underserved need or gap that you were trying to fulfill? Share that with us.
Sure. So we were very restricted. We felt very restricted with different organizations, platforms having so many rules, protocols, which were not necessary. Because when you censor talent, it's kind of depriving them, discouraging them. We wanted to give them some platform where they can speak their heart, their mind, their words, whatever they want to do. And that's what we all need to bring up in this world of opportunities and this world of equanimity. Because we have to bring up those talents. What we could not get at one point of time, if we can give that to others, I think this purpose is solved. So that's the whole idea behind Srijani.
That's brilliant, because I think there are so many. I personally, because of my journey from US to Singapore to India, and because of my dance classes, right, the way when I go out to teach, I come across such amazing people, not just women, but men too, but a lot of women, I cross paths with, who are so talented, who somewhere in their life sometimes took a career break, or who didn't take a career break but are managing like you, so many balls, right? And they have so many talents that people don't recognize them, or people are not even in know of. Mm-hmm. And, if we can give them that platform to share that with the world, in some way it brings a light or a sense of spark in them, because while they may not have the luxury to pursue that as a career, but they want to continue pursuing it as some form of their ability to share with the world, right? And connect through that voice.
I totally agree. And that gives a start, that gives a push, and that gives a winner's feeling. And once you win, you cannot lose ever, because ek baar bahut nahi kehta khoon lag jata hai. When you taste that success story, you always want to go more. It's a gateway kind of thing, right? It just pulls you more. It makes you go higher. So if we can just instill that, trigger that fire in them, the dynamite is set. So we we just have to make them believe that you are what you think you are, and no power can, suppress you or make you feel not of having that talent in you. So that happiness, that joy really triggers every person.
Yeah. And I think it gives them that sense of confidence. And like you said, that furthers them to go out there more and more to say other events or through other platforms, and then do it until they get better and they realize, wow, this is my calling.
इसको क्या कहते हैं, 2 सेंटेंस में कहते हैं, जब हौसला बना लिया ऊंची उड़ान का, फिर देखना फजूल है कद आसमान का.
And we've seen that with you. You're a living example of somebody who's, maybe just dabbled into it on the sideline like a side hustle. And today you are literally like a Bay Area celebrity to reckon with, in US, where you're traveling to Vancouver and to different cities to share your joy of poetry, to share your interest and your ability to create some beautiful poems on very relevant topics as well as very relevant subjects, and share that with the world. So yeah, I think that's been brilliant. About your professional goals, right? And that could be relating to technology, that could be relating to your personal aspirations. So tell me that if you look at an Archana 10 years from now, right? What do you see yourself as? What are your professional goals and aspirations that you hope to fulfill?
You know what? Thing that excites you as a work. As I said, when you wake up, you really want to do it. That, I believe, is a good profession. So till now, I have been into technology. I work for Oracle, I work for Comcast and WellsFargo. I wanted to try different sectors, entertainment, database, the best of database, now with banking sector. But now going forward, after this project, when I feel I've learned what I have wanted to learn, I want to create an organization which brings heritage, Indian legacy, so many things that we have that we want to introduce to mainstream. Because till now, what we think is India is just for Indians. No, if we have when I was teaching in school, what I learned here is everything has to be fun. It has to be inviting, exciting, and appealing. And now is the time to give attention, good intention, and action of what we can do to package it, to make it appeal to the mainstream. So that's, be it Ayurveda, be it yoga, be it meditation, be it anything that we are proud of. But the thing that I feel is we are so possessive and protective about it, the originality, that we fail to understand it has to be a mix. It has to be a medley or a hybrid of what they need and how we can cater to it. So to make it popular, even say for example in yoga, Dhanurasana or Sirsasana, it's difficult to pronounce. But if we make some changes where they accept it, they can relate to it, and it will be fun. Maybe with music, maybe with something that the young teens, kids, children, adults, seniors can immediately get pulled towards it. We don't have to even, if it is interesting, we don't have to sell it. It sells like hotcake. So that's an objective of having a place, or it may be online, but bringing our legacy, culture, heritage, language also to the mainstream space. And even for our second generation, we don't have to push it. Sometimes we make them, feel obligated. It's like guilty feeling them that it's your culture, why don't you accept it? But if we make it interesting enough for them to, get interested and pulled in immediately, intuitively, without our pushing us. So I think that will be one goal that we should all work towards.
Yeah, I think I totally, on this so agree with you, because I believe, like we say, doing Romans as a Roman's would, right? Same way, if you are in a country where you're trying to teach something, you have to teach it in a way that they would understand, not in the way that you think is the way it should be imparted. And like the same principle that I usually teach the startups that I work with, don't create a product that you think the market needs. Create the product that the market actually needs. That's the difference between the two, right? So you have to go with the way the market needs for it to be catered to, and that way reach your customers. I think that's a brilliant idea, and I really wish you luck, because having lived there, I think it is so important, and especially in Bay Area, because I say every single person in Bay Area has somewhere been influenced by the Indian culture because of colleague they worked with, or because they're married to an Indian, or because their kids are best friends, or their school system has, because there's so many Indians. And so they have that exposure. Now to give them exposure to our culture, they love our food, they love our music. In fact, when we talked about yoga, I had the same thing, and I started something in Singapore called Bollywood yoga because I knew that people love the music. The only
Right.
thing that will change is the tone and the way you teach, but everyone cannot just work or meditate in silence. You have to
Exactly.
place them into it. So the
Mhm.
earlier part of it with the kids, I used to use a lot of slow, nice Indian tracks and then
Mhm.
do yoga with it so that it moves into that meditative style. People enjoy and they have a way to kind of get their focus and then move them to the higher trance yoga. So yeah, I really
Totally,
love
totally,
it.
totally. And to talk about food, talk about dosa, talk about, now they have kind of, they're just flirting with it. They're not into
Yeah.
it. They just taste it and okay, it's exotic and move away. But how do we make it like, pasta or burger or even, something that they get used to it, right? So this marketing, I feel we have three objectives: pride, promotion, and participation. Until and unless we take pride in what we are, what we have, our food, our language, our culture, our music, our dances. Bhangra is like one of the, pop, like a hottest thing here. Music, everybody loves Zakir Hussain. But now it's a very small section who knows exactly what we stand for, what this art is. But how and why and when will this make, even it'll be a global standard? That is the objective all need to have.
Absolutely. So now coming to learning more about your own personal journey, share with us initially when you moved to the US or even in India, a challenge that may have shifted your way of being or shifted you to being who you are today. How did you? What were those challenges, or what was that challenge, and how did you overcome it to become your strength or to leave it behind?
Many, I mean, like, जब horse how, what did they say? But there was one thing, हाँ, जिनके ख्वाब जबरदस्त होते हैं उनके इम्तिहान भी मस्त होते हैं. When you have very big high dreams and ambitions, you have to, navigate through a lot of stuff. So when you want to do something, see, first of all, you have to balance your profession and family. As you said, we don't have any Aya Bera here, right? So you are the Aya Bera cook and driver. Everything you have to do, handle yourself. But having said that, when you want to do something, you will do something. When you want to make excuses, you will make excuses. So if you want to make your identity and who you are, just not being a housewife or just a mom, you are Archana. You are doing something. When you introduce yourself, you have something as an extension. I'm doing this thing, this besides taking care of family. That's a big thing. If you can take care of family, that itself is a big thing.
Yeah.
But I feel that a woman can do so much more, provided she has an intention. As I already said, intention, action, and attention to details,
Yeah.
how you can manage it. So sometimes you have to be less emotional and be more professional. How do you manage your time between what you want to do and what you have to do? आपको जो करना है और जो आप करना चाहते हैं, उसमें एक बैलेंस बनाना बहुत ज़रूरी है. और second thing, what I always feel is, I have never paid a lot of focus on money achievement. I have tried to do what I want to do. It might be or might not be with money. For your happiness, for your joy, and the success story lies in if you can do what you want to do. I wanted to study. I wanted to be a teacher. I did be a teacher. I became a teacher. And I worked 5 years and to understand how the public school culture works here. So I was happy I did it. I tried different things, so many things, and it's not like jumping. It's like experiencing what that life is all about. To understand teen pressure, their psychology, their depression, how can you talk to a teen at this age? So different things, all these challenges to learn and to grow at every point of life. Now, like my kids are grown up, they have gone to college, but still I want to learn more. How this happened, how that happened, how technology works, how digital marketing works. So I believe till you have that dream of learning something new and adjusting to the culture, because every day technology is changing. So I believe that your wish and will to learn will make and decide who you are.
Yeah, that's so beautifully said, Archana, so beautifully. And I think, this part, I mean, I think you're the first person I've come across who probably understands that it's okay to switch your career paths because there is a point when something interests you, but you have to go wholeheartedly and make a career out of it. But that doesn't mean that becomes your life. Because after 5 years, you may generate an interest and you may want to pursue something else. And I don't know if you remember, I think we had a common subject in the first year. I remember reading this particular chapter of Peter Drucker's book, and they said every summer he went back to university to learn one particular skill or subject that he had no knowledge about. Because he said, there is no point me studying further in something that I already know. Because that is something that comes to me naturally and I will anyways keep. The idea is for me to expand my knowledge and skill base by learning skills that I don't have. So whether it was learning Mandarin, whether it was learning calligraphy, he did all of those and they were random. And at some point, they always worked in his life. And I always feel a lot of times people tell me like, oh, people must have like one focus. And ek baar you've decided and you do. And I tell them, I said, but life would be so boring unless that's what your passion is, that you're doing the same thing for 30 years. Today I've been teaching dance. It's been 20 years. That's my passion, so not a day of boredom because there's a change, there's an innovation all the time. But if I was just working as an accountant or as something which I didn't like or wasn't my passion, but could be that I studied for it pays me more money. People have different priorities by which we take up a job. But wo karke, for 30 years, if I'm just doing that and I'm not allowed to change my career, to move or try my hand towards something that I feel could be something that interests me, then it's just dissipating your energy in life.
Totally. वो बबली और बंटी पीछे देखिए ना आपने, उसमें था कि कोई इंसान सारी जिंदगी एक ही काम करते हैं और कोई इंसान एक ही जिंदगी में सारे काम कर लेता है. दिल्ली का लड्डू खा के पछताओ या मत ना खा के पछताओ, तो बेटर कि खा के पछताओ. इट्स ओके, यू ट्राई, यू बीन देयर, डन दैट. एक चेक मार्क तो हो जाएगा ना, तो कम से कम ट्राई तो कर लो. सब कुछ कर लो जो करना चाहते हो.
I think that's wonderful.
खासकर this pandemic, what I learned, that if you cannot go out, go in. Think about your own desire, your passion, what you want to do. You never know यार, लाइफ का कुछ पता ही नहीं चलता है, कुछ भी नहीं पता कल का. तो आज live life king size, पूरा जिया करो. पैसा I've seen people here in billions, trillions of dollars, लेकिन यार उनको हंसना ही नहीं आता, उनको मुस्कुराना नहीं आता. They don't know how to be happy. हमको पता है, जब हम पढ़ते थे, हमारे पास ना पैसे नहीं होते थे आइसक्रीम खाने के लिए, नेचुरल वाला आइसक्रीम, रिमेंबर. बट हम लोग कितना हैप्पी होते थे, राइट? वो आधा नेचुरल खा के भी हम लोग इतना हंसते थे, हम लोग खेलते थे. वो लाइफ को लेके आओ. सब कुछ, एवरीथिंग इज नॉट मनी मनी मनी, बट द थिंग इज मनी इज इंपॉर्टेंट. आई डोंट डिसएग्री विद दैट, बट उसके पीछे इतना मत भागो कि यू डोंट इवन एंजॉय द रोजेस ऑन द वे. द डेस्टिनेशन भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है. ईच डे ऑफ योर लाइफ should make some sense. When you wake up, you should not say, oh my God, another day. Then your life is, you have to think something about it. ठीक है ना? अगर आपके पास कुछ भी नहीं है, but you can still wake up and be happy and look forward for the day. You are the king of the day and of your life. I think बहुत जरूरी है अपनी लाइफ को एक डायरेक्शन देना, बहुत जरूरी है.
Tell me this, that you are in a place where you see a lot of women work and you work with a lot of women, right? I have personally been an advocate and a very strong believer of women's financial independence. I always say it's not an option, it's a must. We have to have a work side of our lives always. Whether we need it, whether we require it or not is a secondary subject. But that's the only way to keep your well-being intact, that professional side. So now share with me, what are your views on why it's important for women to be financially independent? And if you've seen any, if you've seen anybody, like something that has created that fire, it's important for women to work because, see, when they don't work, stuff like this can happen and it can leave them completely in shadows. Share that. Why is it important?
It's very important. Dekho, you know what? The best power that comes with money, resources, assets, property, anything, you call it anything. The best power of money is the power of giving it away. You can only give something which you have, right? And then a lot of expectation with you, with your family, with anybody, that that's your strength. That's your, वो कहता है सबकी अपनी अपनी जीवन शैली होती है. किसी की चादर उजली, किसी की मैली होती है. उन पेड़ों को हमें बार बार नहीं सींचना पड़ता जिसकी जड़ धरती में गहरी फैली होती है. That is your root, your foundation on which you stand. अगर आपका एक अस्तित्व नहीं है, if you don't have an identity, if you don't have a power of you need to have some base where you are standing and growing up. But that is finance. If you don't have that power, nobody, even your family, agar aap kitne bhi close ho, if you don't have that resource strength in you, nobody will have respect, love or anything. But आज का जो world है, it's not that it's materialistic, but that's the way it works, right? So first you make yourself stronger, strengthen, and then you dream beyond, think beyond. उसके बाद क्या कर सकते हैं? A.R. Rahman makes amazing music. He makes different music, but doesn't mean that he doesn't know conventional music. He knows it, but he goes beyond. So when you're thinking about changing the world, first go till the world is. What is the world standard? What is its protocol? Understand it, and then once you have a handle on it, an authority over it, then you can think beyond, of dreaming higher, bigger, brighter, broader.
Wonderful. Now tell me this, that I know you're very financially prudent. I remember, you probably have created your own assets, which have been, I think you've been one of the Americans or the Indians who are there. I have seen who have not really fallen into the whole capitalistic live on debt, live on mortgage, and spend the rest of your life like this. But you've actually brought in the Indian way of how our parents live, right? That you pay off and you try and be liability free so that you're money free. Share some financial tips with us and with the viewers.
I always am a very big advocate of making money. It's not that you work to make money every time. You have to have a little bit of advantage of your money working for you when you're not working towards it. The idea of real financial freedom will be when you work when you want to work, without being forced into it. We will work. We have been brought into that culture that even if we are 65, 70, 80, we want to work. But we should not be made to work to get our bread. That is not freedom. When you want to work, when you want it, but when you are not wanting to do it and still you're able to sustain yourself, I think that's the best financial stability from my standards. So plan on something. So as you said very rightly, that here the culture is like, paid back later. But that later thing never comes. It hurts you and bites you really hard. So the luxury can come later. The real needs should come first. If it is needed, get it. But if it's not, then wait. If it can wait for some time, you should wait and save that amount to make it investment quadruplated, as they say. So talk to Nidhi. She's so brilliant in finance. She was a finance whiz kid in our class. I remember she used to, uske khoon mein hai, and it's in your blood. I remember that. She's so smart in finance. I should ask you this question actually.
If you say that in front of my husband, he will just fall off the jet, because he always tells me, are you sure you did your MBA in finance? Because you're so far away, you don't even know how to keep your accounts properly. But I am conservative with the way I spend.
No, I should not say conservative. I'm telling you, you are street smart. Nidhi, what you do is not just the number crunching. You have an idea about how world works. You are a very practical person. And that's what makes you different from all the rest of number crunchers. Anybody can count numbers. They can make things go in the number world. But you know how world can turn around and how money can double up, or even make it manifold. So I trust your judgment. You have that business instinct instilled in you, and you should trust that big time. Even anybody says don't believe anybody, you have that. तुम्हारे में ना अंदर वो मैंने देखा है तुमको ना पढ़ते हुए. You have some that beauty part in you and the finance part in you. You were the first person who put mehndi on my hand when my marriage was being decided, and I still remember that it was so beautiful. You just moved it and it became so beautiful. You have the same beauty with finance, and I wish you all the best. That jo bhi karo, and you're doing good. Already you're helping so many women around the world. You have that sense, and keep rocking. I'm so proud of you.
Thanks. Now tell me that as the kids were growing up, right? And of course you were away from India, and even the grandparental help or influence is a little bit lower over there, because not every time you have parents staying with you. two characteristics that you absolutely instilled or taught your children that they must have. Share that with us, those two characteristics.
Oh, wow. Parenting in US, especially with Indian parents, is such a bad job we are doing. I mean, bad job in the sense that we impose ourselves. This is right, this is wrong. But it is, even parenting anywhere on globe is difficult. वो कहते हैं बहुत अच्छी किसने कहा, धूप में तपता बाप है, धूप में तपता बाप है, माँ चूल्हे में जलती है, तब जाके दोस्तों घर में औलाद पलती है. It's so hard anywhere in the world because we have our dreams, our ambitions, and on top of it, we are, caught in the webs and wires of family, profession, and we just have 24 hours. We're not like superwoman or something, right? But still, in having said that, the two things I believe very important is freedom first. बच्चों को अपने आप को अपनी आकांक्षाओं को, अपने ड्रीम्स को अपने बच्चों पे मत डालो. Never do that. Let them grow, let them have difficulty, let them learn. हमने कभी even though we had resources, हमने कभी private school नहीं prefer किया. Let them go to public school. See what the regular culture is. See how difficult it is for other children. इनके साथ बच्चे आते हैं जो they won't have even proper food at times. Even broken families से आते हैं. They see all these things happen. Let them face real world. Let them grow as है ना, वो बहुत जरूरी है. And then second thing, ideally I should say कि they should learn our language, they should learn our heritage, culture, dance, music. But हमने ये कभी नहीं सोचा कि हमें उनसे क्या सीखना है. And I have learned a lot from my children. To learn to talk. I have never had the sex education in my life. हमें कुछ नहीं पता था, सच बता रहे हैं. And these children are so open about everything. Physical, mental, social, emotional, sexual, सब कुछ मालूम होता है इनको. और इनसे सीखने की हमको दरकार पड़ती है. We have to learn. Seriously, my mom never told me anything. My daughter teaches me. No, my daughter teaches me everything. So I am so much and even technology wise, बच्चों से सीखना जरूरी है to understand them better. They have such a dual life they are living. उनको स्कूल में कुछ होता है, घर में कुछ होता है, तो let them be one world. Let them have one world. है ना, तो उनको
So tell me कि what did you? So एक core होता है, जैसे as parents हम कहते हैं कि बेटा these things are core in life. ये आपका character बनाता है, like honesty or be ethical या whether it's अपने culture को बांध के रखो जो भी है. So share with me those two things that you always taught your children.
अरे यार मैं बताऊँ, सही बता रही हूँ. ethic and honesty तो उन्होंने मुझे सिखाया है. यहाँ का citizenship इतना honest है, they will never break a line. हम लोगों को shortcut मिलेगा तो हम कर लेंगे. But we went to क्या कहते हैं उसको, डिज्नीलैंड में बहुत लंबी लाइन होती है, right? And we always find the easiest way कि हमारे पास बच्चे हैं, हम लोग लाइन को शॉर्ट कर देंगे. But they are so ethical. So I'm telling you that many things that हम लोग what we try to teach them, they teach us better. So I learned and I teach them that whatever new thing you've learned, tell me. Let's learn together. तो ये वाला जो together का learning होता है ना, very good. They bond with you. Yeah, they bond. And but only one thing, as you said, the finance part of it. So I have twin boys, right? So one of Love Kush उनका नाम है. So although they are 3 minutes apart, but they are world apart. Okay, my younger one, both of them did internship in this summer camp. Though they earned some money, but जो पहला वाला है ना बहुत रंगीला है. So he kind of spends everything in one go. गया. Second one is kind of really finance smart. So he's not that. उसके हाथ बहुत कड़क हैं. He won't spend. So to teach them how to spend, invest properly, वो वाला अगर हम उनको सिखा सकें, because हमको थोड़ा बहुत तो दुनियादारी हमने सीखी है इतने तजुर्बे में, so that one helps. But and that also I think it's a joint effort. They also have their own say, but पूरा हमेशा खर्च मत कर दो on impulsive. So that we have to kind of, and also some ऐसे habits होती हैं जो यहाँ पर बहुत natural होती है, like drinking, like drugs, and to go out with people. अगर उस पे थोड़ा सा हम उनको train कर सकें अच्छा, I think that will take them long. But it's you can just guide them, you can suggest them. I think यहाँ के क्या कहीं के बच्चों को आजकल हम force नहीं कर सकते हैं. We cannot do that.
The time has gone. Yeah, I think now you have to reason with that. You have to always give them an analogy why this is and it's important to be done. I remember when I moved to India, and I would ask my children that, if you see anybody who looks a bit older or who's in a sari or suit, you got to go and touch their feet, right? Because I didn't know how to teach them ki nahi ye bade hain ya ye, no. So I just said touch everyone's feet. So they would go and touch. That time they were very young. When they got older, once Arjun asked me, and by then we had started going to this yoga class. And my yoga says absolutely amazing. He's so spiritually, mature, and he sits and talks to us and the kids. And once Arjun asked me as he grew up, maybe around 10, then why do we have to touch feet? And I myself, I've never been told why am I touching feet. Yes, it's taking blessings, but more detail into it, I myself didn't know what to say. So we had a yoga class that evening, and I asked her. I said, "Sir, कि हम India में हम पैर छूते हैं, तो what is the significance of it?" And it was so beautiful. I would love to share it just if we come to this. What sir said, and he was telling Arjuna, he said, "एक तो जब आप पैर छूते हैं, there has to be a physical touch. In today's world, you'll go halfway or 3/4 and you won't touch somebody's feet. It's just like a nuance. Okay, my parents are around, so I have to just bend or do namaste." He said the whole premise comes from when you touch somebody who's older, more experienced, their feet, there's a touch and there's a transfer of energy from the person who's more experienced to a person who's less experienced, through their lives, through what they have gained, through their love, through their blessings, which comes to you. And he said it's the easiest way to gain that positive energy, to gain experience that will take you a lifetime to here, and to make somebody happy because they're not expecting, you're showing them respect. And you're telling them that you touch their feet because you feel there is something that you look up to towards them, and you want to receive that as a blessing from them. And I think it was so beautifully put to the children that till date, my children, now of course Arjun is 17, even when our friends come, now of course I don't have to remind them, I don't have to tell them, but both of them, even when our friends come who are much younger, they will go and absolutely, it's not even a say, there's no handshake. They will first touch the feet, then they might hug. So I think explaining to children, as you said, is important, not dictating them or not telling them this is the way it's to be done. That time has gone. That was till our generation.
और हमको भी we have to now analyze that what the things we have done, why, जो होता आया है वही होता आएगा, वही सही है. How? Yeah. I mean, how is it contemporary? How is it relevant? We also need, now it is time, because always, देखो पता होता क्या कि it takes less energy to just accept and वही करते रहो. लेकिन थोड़ा सा brain power, God has given you इतना अच्छा mind दिया है, brain intellect दिया है to think, to ask, to question why. And, it's not that everything that has happened or was happening is right. और गलत भी नहीं. हाँ. So, but उसका लॉजिक अगर हम वो पता है, एक बड़े अच्छे कवि हैं, उन्होंने बहुत अच्छा कहा है कि हमको समय को देख कर ही नित्य चलना चाहिए, बदले हवा जब जिस तरफ हमको बदलना चाहिए, विपरीत विश्व प्रवाह के निज नाव जा सकती नहीं, अपूर्व की बातें सभी प्रस्ताव पा सकती नहीं. What has been will be not accepted. Not that we are saying wrong, but why is it, ऐसा क्यों है, जो है वो ऐसा क्यों है, अगर है तो हमें रीजन बताइए, or otherwise let's change. And if you're questioning something, it makes only sense when you have an alternative, better solution. अगर आप कुछ कह रहे हैं कि गलत है, क्यों गलत है और इसका सही क्या है, then you have to give the सही also. Otherwise you are questioning the गलत तो बताना बहुत आसान है. It's very easy to just pinpoint this is wrong, but what is right? Osho, I'm a very big follower of Osho. वो इतना अच्छा कहते हैं, उनकी हर बात में एक लॉजिक होता है, but it's not understood properly. लेकिन अगर उसको समझेंगे तो उसका इतना अच्छा पर्सपेक्टिव, उसका एक्सेप्टेंस लेवल बहुत बढ़ जाएगा. I mean, we all should learn from different things that we have as our, previous.
Yeah. So as we come to closing our episode, I want to end it by having you share a quote or a saying that has been very close to your heart and that you literally live by. Share that with us.
बहुत सारे ऐसे हैं, बहुत सारे, मैं आपको लेकिन बताती हूँ जो फकीरी मिजाज रखते हैं. जैसे कि मैंने कहा ना कि बहुत अपनी लाइफ को फुल जियो, क्योंकि दिस इज योर लाइफ, राइट? किसी और के टर्म में क्यों रहते हैं? जो फकीरी मिजाज रखते हैं वो ठोकरों पे ताज रखते हैं, जिसे कल की फिक्र नहीं वो मुट्ठी में आज रखते हैं. Let's live today. Full live life king size. खुश रहिए, लोगों को खुशियां दीजिए, because you might not live. Nobody will live forever, but do something which will live beyond you. समय से परे आप कैसे रह पाएंगे? And it doesn't matter, once you're gone, everything is lost. But अगर even if when you're dying, if you think that I've done something which makes sense in my life, अरे एनिमल्स भी खाते पीते रहते हैं, सब कुछ करते हैं, हंसते भी हैं, एवरीथिंग इज डन बाय एनिमल्स. आप एज अ ह्यूमन बीइंग, एक इंसान बनकर आप ऐसा क्या कर रहे हैं जो अलग है, अलहदा है, फर्क है, डिफरेंट है? तो टू मेक दैट डिफरेंस समवेयर, टू मेक अ डिफरेंस टू समबडी, एक मुस्कान भी दे देते हैं आप किसी को, तो इट माने रखता है ना? कभी किसी का शोर मचाना माने रखता है, कभी किसी का चुप हो जाना माने रखता है. किसी के चेहरे पे आपने उदासी नहीं देखी हो तो उसका जरा सा मुस्काना भी माने रखता है. तो मेक सम डिफरेंस टू योर लाइफ. अपने आपको अच्छा लगेगा. दैट्स व्हाट आई एम ऑलवेज थिंकिंग.
Thank you so much, Archana. It's been such a beautiful way to start my Sunday by having this conversation with you. I think you will inspire many people who are going to listen to this podcast and listen to you speaking about it. And I really wish you all the success in everything that you do. I hope your name spreads across the globe for everything that you wish to create and you are out there to create. And I really wish success in your family life, to shift to the kids. And I hope the children are able to also carry on the torch and the baton of their mother, like how you've created a niche for yourself in a new country with new people, new culture, everything. It's absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much.
Yeah, home is where you make it. Now तो हमारा यही भारत है. For us, this is India. And before we say bye-bye to all our viewers, I wish you one thing, that as I always say in this pandemic, कि आंख किसी भी कोई गम से खारी ना हो, आस किसी की हालातों की मारी ना हो, दुआ हमारी मौला बस तुमसे इतनी है, दुश्मन के घर भी कोई बीमारी ना हो, दुश्मन के घर भी कोई बीमारी ना हो. आप अपना ख्याल रखिए, स्वस्थ रहें, व्यस्त रहें और मस्त रहें. Thank you, Nidhi. Wish you all the best for the work you're doing. And if I can be of any help to any person anywhere, I'm always here for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Archana.